Hi guys, I hope that you're all doing well. Today's lesson is about trigonometry for grade 11 and grade 12s. Now, this is the introduction video. I won't be jumping right into exercises. If you're comfortable with trig and if you want to do different examples, then I'd recommend that you skip to the next video, which is about the reduction formula. But if you want a proper introduction about trigonometry and if you want to know what's expected of you and if you want to have a sense of direction, then I'd recommend that you stick around. So what is trigonometry? Trigonometry is a topic about sides and angles of triangles. There are different techniques called trigonometric techniques that we use to solve all those sides and angles. Now, what do I mean by trigonometric techniques? In grade 9, you were introduced to factorization, and you know that in factorization there's the common factor, common bracket, difference of two squares, trinomials, as well as grouping, right? Now, in trig, we also have those subtopics, however you call them, trigonometric techniques. And the first one is the reduction formula. The reduction formula is where we simplify angles, we reduce them from obtuse angles to acute angles. Obtuse angles are angles that are greater than 90 degrees but smaller than 180 degrees. And acute angles are angles that are greater than 0 degrees but smaller than 90 degrees. So the whole point is to simplify angles. Now, please make sure that you write down these notes. You don't have to fully understand what these trig techniques mean. I just want you guys to know what's expected of you and for you to know the amount of tasks you basically complete under this topic. So you have to learn the reduction formula. Number 2, cofunctions. They are also known as co-ratios. This is where you swap between sine and cos. And as I said, you don't have to understand what it means now, but you have to know which topic you'll deal with. Number 3, we have negative angles. Number 4, we have special angles. Number 5, we have trigonometric identities. Number 6, the last trig technique or subtopic, we have trigonometric equations, as well as the general solution. Now, I'll teach you guys all these trig techniques and we'll do a few examples. If you're in grade 12, you will also deal with these basics, but you'll also build onto them. You'll do more complicated things. So if your basics aren't strong, grade 12 trig will be very difficult. This is what's expected of you. Now, what I'd advise you is to revise a few topics so the trig isn't really complicated for you. And let me make a list for the topics that you have to practice. Number 1, you have to know your basic algebra. Let's write this down. Topics before starting with trig. Number 1, basic algebra. Number 2, you have to know your laws of exponents. Number 3, you should know how to factorize. Number 4, you should know how to deal with fractions. And lastly, you should know your geometry basics. Specifically the Pythagoras theorem. These are the 5 topics that I'd recommend you revise before starting with trig, as it'll be easier for you when you encounter certain problems. Class is in Session is a new YouTube channel and we're still uploading a few videos. If certain topics are available, I'll make sure that the link to the playlist is featured in the description. For example, we already have factorization videos. This was introduced to you guys in grade 9. If you know how to factorize, I'd recommend that you just check it out, do a few examples so that you remind yourself how to factorize. So in trig, they told you guys in grade 10 that you have different trig ratios. Before I continue, please note that this video is brought to you by Spotify. Spotify is a music streaming app that gives you access to over 100 million tracks. You can get the free version in which you download the app and start streaming music, or you can get the premium version where you pay a certain amount monthly and have access to features like downloading music and streaming offline. For more information, please go to open.spotify.com. Now you have sine theta, cos theta, and tan theta. Sine, cos, and tan are your trig ratios. Theta means the angle. So sometimes you might be given sine theta. You can also get a variable. It could be sine x or sine y. You could also get a number. So it could be sine 30 or sine 45. So it honestly just depends on the question that you guys get. But just know that theta, you won't always get theta. Okay. So to remember the ratios or what your trig ratios are equal to, they told you guys that you should use SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. Now, the S stands for sine. Let's say sine theta is equal to O, and H is opposite over hypotenuse. And the C stands for cos. Let's say cos theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Then you have TOA. The T stands for tan. Let's say tan theta. Then O stands for opposite and A stands for adjacent. So tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. Now these trig ratios apply when dealing with right-angled triangles. For example, if you have a triangle that looks like this, then this is your 90 degrees, right? 90 degrees. The other angle here, let's just say it's theta. I told you that it could be a number, right? Maybe 30, 45, or any other number. So let's just say it's theta. Now, the side that's across your angle is your opposite side. To see which one is across your angle, you can just draw an arrow. That is your opposite side. The side that's next to your angle is your adjacent side. Next to your angle, meaning here. This is your adjacent side. And the other side, once you've figured these two out, or the longest side, is the hypotenuse. Okay, you have opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. So if they say, what's sine theta? You know that sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Now let's write a few values. Let's say your hypotenuse is 2, your opposite side is 1, and your adjacent side is, let's say, 1. So if you're expected to find sine theta, right? You know that sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse. Now, where's the opposite side? There's your opposite side. So you'd say 1 over the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is 2, right? So sine theta in this triangle would be 1 over 2 as it's opposite over hypotenuse. Now let's do cos theta. Cos theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent side is this one. Adjacent side is 1 over, the hypotenuse is 2. So cos theta is equal to 1 over 2. Let's do tan theta. Tan theta is equal to, tan theta is opposite over adjacent. There's your opposite side and there's the adjacent. So tan theta would be 1 over 1, which is basically 1. That is how you use those trig ratios. We'll do more examples as time goes on. Let's move to the test diagram. Now in trig, you guys have to use a test diagram every single time, as it's a bit impossible to solve without a test diagram. So if you're a beginner, this is definitely a tool that you need to know. So to draw a case diagram, you start with your x and your y-axis. Now your x-axis, from your x-axis, fill in your 0 degrees. You have 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and 360 degrees. Okay, in your case diagram, you should have CAST, which stands for cos, or sine, and tan. Your case diagram is divided into 4 quadrants. The first quadrant is here, quadrant 1, you have quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Now what does this mean? We measure theta anti-clockwise from the positive x-axis from here. This is where your theta starts. So if you go from here to there, you get 90 degrees. Okay? If you go from here all the way to there, you get 180 degrees. And if you go from here all the way to there, you get 270 degrees. And if you go from here all the way to there, you get a full revolution, which is 360 degrees. So your case diagram lets you know where your trig ratio is, whether your trig ratio is positive or negative in a certain quadrant. For example, in the first quadrant, all the trig ratios are positive. Okay? Meaning sine, tan, and cos are positive here. So in your second quadrant, you have sine, right? Which means sine is positive in the second quadrant. However, tan and cos are negative, because as you can see, we wrote sine, which means it's sine's quadrant. Tan and cos are negative here. Now in the third quadrant, tan is positive because it's tan's quadrant. However, sine and cos are negative here. Okay, let's move to the last one. In the fourth quadrant, cos is positive. However, sine and tan are negative because it's cos's quadrant. So that is the whole point of your case diagram. If you didn't understand what I meant by where your trig ratios are positive or negative, you don't have to make any notes. We'll do more examples, and as time goes on, you'll get the hang of how to use your case diagram. Now, that is what trigonometry is about. This is what you guys will deal with. 6 trig ratios. I'd recommend that you revise these topics. I'll keep uploading videos, and I'll make sure that I've covered most of them. And thank you guys for watching the video. I'll see you guys in the next video about the reduction formula. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and shout out to Spotify for making this video possible.